everyone, this is Eli, and today we are going to be 6-speed swapping this W210 E300. Once we put a big injection pump on this OM606, this automatic box has completely petered out. So we have this kit from Ben's Injection that includes a 270 CDI 6-speed gearbox, a custom flywheel, and some other W210 parts that will make this gearbox work in this chassis. So first things first, we're going to get this thing on the lift, drop the 722.6 out of this thing, and we'll get the flywheel bolted up.
You guys could just smell this video right now. Okay, we've got the drive shaft out. Really simple, just drop the carrier bearing and undo the 3 bolts that are connecting it to the tail shaft of the transmission. Now we can unbolt the bell housing and torque converter off the flex plate, and we can drop this big unit out. Flywheel bolted onto the 606. We put a new rear main seal, and temporarily we just bolted the starter and see if this thing will start with the triggers. So we'll go ahead and fire it up and see if this thing will run. Now I'm going to install the pilot bearing adapter that came in the kit. It slides into the end of the crank, and on the lathe I made this quick alignment tool. It's just a piece of Delrin rod that goes into the splines of the clutch disc, and then on the end it is turned down to fit snug into the pilot bearing. That way I can bolt the pressure plate on, we can pull this rod out, and then we can slide the transmission up. So now I got the shifter bolted in. There's just one bolt at the front, and the shifter linkage goes in with a little clipped pin. Here is where the shifter sits. So I just cut the hole out for the shifter with the Sawzall up here. It's a perfect square right in the center of where the automatic shifter was. Then I had to make a mount to mount the back end of the shifter. So pretty much I just made a flat plate that goes where the sensor was. I put a piece of polyurethane bushing inside of this round part, and it just fits snug onto this tail shaft that was on this shifter when I got it. And as you can see, it's nice and solid. Now I'm going to install the drive shaft. So I'm pretty much done under the W210. I've got a new carrier bearing in. I've got the 270 CDI front drive shaft in. Right here, I had to modify the cross member. So I pretty much just took 2 of the automatic cross members and I just lengthened this one for the transmission support. This is the 270 CDI exhaust bracket. It fits and mounts to the exhaust. Here is the slave cylinder hose that I've made. It is at a 1/4 inch brake line. I used the fittings that were originally on the transmission and just bent my own line out of a straight piece. I put a union here so this piece can be removed because it does have quite a few bends once it goes inside of the car, but it goes into the factory location where there was a grommet sitting here on the firewall. Now up here in the engine bay, I've got to get fluid to the slave cylinder that is for the clutch. So right here you can see there's a crimped off barb that is on the brake reservoir, and I've ran some of this power steering hose. Then it has a male plastic end that goes into the slave cylinder. So I'm just going to cut this, put a hose clamp, and it'll connect to this reservoir. I disassembled the entire shifter assembly and I took out the shifter selector. Pretty much what I just did is set this selector to park, and the car still starts. I can still get the key in and out, but either way it should tuck in right here just fine, and we can keep on putting the center console in. Sounds cool. Oh my gosh. It's got 5 gears so far.
That's pretty good.
Heck yeah.
So as far as the way this transmission shifts, it is super smooth and honestly has a very fluent feeling to it. Reverse also has a detent all the way to the left and forward, and eventually we'll get rid of this depth shifter and make a boot for the center console. So in conclusion, this was a pretty easy swap. There's only a few parts I either had to make or modify, but other than that, everything pretty much just bolted up. I'd say the only thing I did not like about this transmission is that in neutral at an idle, there is a clatter in the gearbox. Although once you have the clutch in or you're driving down the road, the noise completely goes away. If you guys would like to do this swap, go check out Ben's Injection where you can get a full kit with all the parts I showed at the beginning of the video. So with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.